What if I told you some of the biggest facts in history were total scams and billions of people fell for them without question? Yeah, the stories you grew up hearing, the ones printed in textbooks and repeated by teachers, a lot of them straight up fiction dressed as fact. By the end of this video, you'll question everything your history teacher ever told you, because these aren't small mistakes. They're some of the biggest lies in history that people actually believed. Number 1. The Trojan Horse, the greatest wooden lie ever told. You've heard the story. The Greeks built a massive wooden horse, hid soldiers inside, and tricked the Trojans into wheeling it through their gates. Classic case of don't trust free gifts, right? Well, turns out that's not quite what happened. Modern historians believe the Trojan horse wasn't a literal horse at all. It might have been a poetic metaphor, maybe a siege engine shaped like a horse, or even a symbol for an earthquake that destroyed Troy's walls. But somewhere along the way, the metaphor got lost, and the myth took on a life of its own. People preferred the drama of a giant horse over the boring truth of ancient warfare or geology. Because, let's face it, a horse full of soldiers sounds way cooler than a structural collapse caused by tectonic movement. The lie became legend, and the legend became history. Number 2. Diamonds are rare, the most brilliant marketing scam. Let's move from ancient deception to one that still sparkles today. You've been told diamonds are rare, that they're precious stones, symbols of eternal love, and worth every paycheck you blow on them. But here's the real gem. They're not rare at all. In fact, the abundance of diamonds is what made one company, De Beers, realize it had to control the story to control the price. For over a century, De Beers hoarded diamonds, restricted supply, and flooded the world with advertising that made people believe owning one was a sign of true love. The famous line, "A diamond is forever," not written by poets or lovers, but by a marketing agency hired in 1947. The modern engagement ring tradition wasn't romance. It was a sales pitch that worked so well, people still believe it's ancient custom. So next time you see that shiny ring, remember, it's not rare. It's just really, really good branding. Number 3. The Great Wall of China, the lie that went orbital. You've heard it since childhood. The Great Wall of China is the only man-made structure visible from space. Sounds impressive, right? Too bad it's totally false. The truth is, even astronauts can barely see it, and that's only under perfect lighting and weather conditions. The myth actually started centuries before anyone even dreamed of leaving Earth. Writers just loved exaggerating how massive it was, and by the time we actually made it to space, the lie had already become common knowledge. NASA astronauts later confirmed it. From orbit, the wall blends right into the landscape. Ironically, you can see city lights, airports, and even major highways far more easily than the wall itself. But the idea that ancient humans built something visible from the moon was just too good to fact-check. It made us feel small and awestruck, and who wants to ruin that? Number 4. Nero fiddled while Rome burned, the emperor's bad PR. Picture this. Rome is burning, flames reaching the sky, people screaming, and there's Emperor Nero, strumming his fiddle while the city collapses. It's a powerful image, but it's one of the most unfair reputations in history. First off, fiddles didn't even exist in Nero's time. Violins wouldn't appear for over 1,000 years. Secondly, Nero wasn't off playing music while chaos unfolded. He was actually helping coordinate relief efforts, opening his own palaces to shelter victims. So how did the rumor start? Politics. After Nero's death, rival historians and senators painted him as a monster to destroy his legacy. They twisted his love of music into an accusation of cruelty. Over time, Nero fiddled while Rome burned became shorthand for apathy in the face of disaster. The truth? Nero might have been dramatic, but he wasn't that heartless. History just needed a villain, and he was convenient. Number 5. The Flat Earth Myth, how 19th century writers trashed the Middle Ages. Here's a surprise. People in the Middle Ages knew the Earth was round. That's right, medieval scholars, sailors, even church leaders understood it. The flat Earth idea is actually a much newer invention. It was born in the 1800s, when a few writers wanted to make the past look foolish and the modern world look enlightened. They claimed everyone used to believe in a flat planet until Columbus bravely proved it was round. But that's total fiction. Columbus wasn't fighting flat earthers, he was just bad at math. He underestimated the Earth's size so badly that if the Americas hadn't been in the way, his entire crew would have run out of supplies before reaching Asia. So, the real myth isn't about flat Earth believers, it's about 19th century storytellers rewriting history for drama. Number 6. Lemmings commit suicide, Disney's darkest scene. Now, get ready for one of the strangest lies ever filmed. In 1958, Disney released a documentary called White Wilderness, showing lemmings dramatically jumping off a cliff to their deaths. The scene shocked audiences and spread worldwide, cementing the belief that these tiny creatures commit mass suicide when their population grows too big. But here's the dark truth. It was all staged. The film crew gathered dozens of lemmings, put them on a turntable to make it look like they were migrating, and then physically pushed them off a cliff for the camera. None of it was natural behavior. It was cruelty dressed up as nature. The wildest part? The documentary went on to win an Oscar. That's right, a fake tragedy rewarded for realism. It's a haunting reminder that not everything we see on screen is real, even when it looks like nature's doing the work. Number 7. St. Patrick drove out snakes, the reptile-free miracle. And finally, let's talk about one of Ireland's most famous legends. You've probably heard that St. Patrick drove all the snakes out of Ireland, a miracle that supposedly made the island reptile-free. But here's the truth. There were never any snakes to begin with. Ireland's climate, especially after the Ice Age, was far too cold for snakes to survive. So what did St. Patrick really drive out? Not animals, but old pagan traditions. The snakes were a metaphor, symbolizing pre-Christian beliefs and rituals that faded as Christianity spread. Over centuries, the story got retold so often that the metaphor turned into literal history. People loved the image of a saint standing on a hill, waving away serpents like a divine pest controller. But science tells us it was never about reptiles at all, just religion, change, and legend that slithered its way into myth. So, here's the truth. History isn't written by the victors, it's rewritten by the marketers. The stories that shaped our world weren't always honest, but they sure were effective. Which of these lies fooled you the most? Drop it in the comments and let's keep uncovering more of history's biggest scams together. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because the next truth bomb might just rewrite what you thought you knew.